here is the true story of umami, the fifth taste behind Japanese food. It's easy listening, so take your time. Listen for the two foods that bring it out. Let's begin. Let us start with a big moment for Japanese food. In December 2013, at a meeting in Baku, in Azerbaijan, UNESCO added washoku to its list of intangible cultural heritage. But here is a common misunderstanding. UNESCO did not choose sushi or tempura or any single dish. Instead, it chose a whole way of eating. The full name even mentions the new year, so what was really honored was a social custom. It was the way people respect nature and share food together, especially at events like the New Year. In other words, it was not one plate of food. It was a culture built around the seasons that has been handed down for generations. Officials often describe washoku with 4 ideas. First, fresh and varied ingredients where cooks try to bring out the natural taste of each food. Second, a good balance of nutrition built on a simple pattern called ikiju sansa. That means 1 soup and 3 dishes served with rice. Third, the beauty of nature and the changing seasons shown on the plate. And fourth, a strong link to yearly events like the New Year. Because of this third idea, Japanese cooks care deeply about shun. Shun is the short season when a food is at its best, when it is generally said to taste finest and be most nourishing. So the calendar, and not just the kitchen, shapes the meal. Now, why does Japanese cooking taste so satisfying, even without much meat? A big part of the answer is umami, the savory fifth taste. For a long time, people knew 4 basic tastes: sweet, salty, sour, and bitter. But a chemist named Kikini Aikta felt there was one more. In 1908, at Tokyo Imperial University, he studied kombu, the dried kelp used for soup stock. He found that its deep, savory taste came from an amino acid called glutamate. Aikta named this taste umami. It is said that, in the same year, he was granted a patent for a way to make a seasoning from it. So umami, the fifth taste, was born from a bowl of seaweed broth. Let us pause and catch 3 phrases from the first half. First, the fifth taste. A taste is a basic flavor, and umami is called the fifth taste because it comes after sweet, salty, sour, and bitter. Second, at its best. When something is at its best, it is in its finest condition, so a vegetable in season is at its best. Third, to bring out. To bring out a flavor means to make it stronger or clearer so that you can taste it well. A good stock brings out the umami in a dish. 3 phrases down. Now, back to the table. After Aikta, other scientists found more umami. In 1913, it is said that Shintaro Kodama discovered the umami in dried bonito called katsuo bushi. This time the source was different. It was not glutamate, but a substance from a different family called inosinate. Then, in 1957, Akira Kuninaka found yet another umami substance, guanylate, in dried shiitake mushrooms. He also showed something important. When you mix glutamate with these substances, the umami does not simply add up. It grows much stronger. This is called the synergy effect. So the 2 families of umami work as a team. Together, they bring out a taste far deeper than either one alone. This teamwork explains the heart of Japanese cooking, dashi, the basic soup stock. The most classic dashi joins two ingredients. One is kombu, which is rich in glutamate. The other is katsuobushi, which is rich in inosinate. Because these come from two different families of umami, mixing them creates that strong synergy. So dashi is the backbone of countless dishes. Cooks even make it in stages. A light, quick stock called ikaben dashi, the first dashi, is used for clear soups. Then the same ingredients are simmered again to make niben dashi, the second dashi, used for miso soup and stews. And in shajin cooking, which uses no fish or meat, cooks build dashi from kombu and dried shiitake instead. But Japanese food is not only about dashi. It is also a world of fermentation, where food is changed slowly by tiny living things. The star here is a mold called koji or Aspergillus oryzae. It is so important that Japan's brewing scientists are said to have named it the country's national mold. Koji does its work with enzymes. These enzymes break down big pieces of food into smaller ones. One kind breaks down starch into sugar. Another kind breaks down protein into amino acids, including glutamate. And glutamate, as we now know, means umami. So the same mold stands behind miso, soy sauce, mirin, and sweet amazake. Let us meet three of Koji's children. First, miso. Cooks mix steamed soybeans with koji and salt, then let the mixture age. As it rests, enzymes break down the beans, amino acids form, and the savory taste grows. Miso is often grouped by its koji, whether rice, barley, or soybean. Second, soy sauce. Here koji grows on soybeans and roasted wheat. This is mixed with salt water to make a mash called moromi, which ferments for many months. Yeasts and other microbes join in, and this gives soy sauce its color and smell. Third, mirin. Real mirin is made from glutinous rice, rice koji, and shochu. The koji turns the rice starch into sugar, so mirin becomes sweet without any added sugar. Two more examples show how wide fermentation goes. Take katsuobushi again. To make the finest, hardest kind, makers cook and smoke the bonito, then grow a helpful mold on its surface again and again. The mold pulls out water and fat and shapes the flavor, a little like the way mold finishes some cheeses. Now compare natto, the sticky fermented soybean. Natto is not made with koji at all. Instead, it is made with a bacterium called Bacillus subtilis. So here is a neat line to draw. Miso and soy sauce lean on a mold, but natto leans on a bacterium. Same soybean, but a different tiny worker. Three more phrases before we finish. First, the backbone of. The backbone of something is its main support, the part that holds everything up. Dashi is the backbone of Japanese cooking. Second, to break down. To break down something is to split it into smaller parts. Enzymes break down protein into amino acids. Third, handed down. When a custom is handed down, it is passed from older people to younger ones over many years. Washoku has been handed down for generations. Keep these three close, because they carry the whole story of Japanese food. Before we recap, here is one idea worth keeping. Why did people all over old Japan ferment their food? The first reason was simple: to keep it. Long before fridges, fermentation stopped food from going bad, so families could store beans and fish through the winter. But something else happened at the same time. As the microbes broke down protein, they created amino acids like glutamate. In other words, they created umami. So keeping food and building flavor go hand in hand. The very same process that saved the food also made it taste better. That is why fermentation sits at the center of Japanese cooking. It was, all at once, a way to survive and a way to feast. Storage and umami go hand in hand. Let us see what stayed with you. Here are 3 quick questions. 1. In 1908, Kikini Aikta found the 5th taste, umami, in kombu. But which amino acid did he point to? 2. Dashi is the backbone of Japanese cooking. Which 2 ingredients make the classic dashi, and why do they work so well together? And 3. Miso and soy sauce are made with a mold called koji, but natto is made with something different. What is it? Try to say your answers out loud or write them in the comments. Speaking and thinking about the answers is where real learning happens. Thank you for staying with us to the end of the table. Today we saw how one idea, umami, ties Japanese food together, from a bowl of kombu dashi to a spoon of miso. We saw how tiny living things, both molds and bacteria, quietly build flavor. And we saw how this whole way of eating has been handed down for generations and even honored by the world. If this episode made your English a little stronger and your next meal a little more interesting, please subscribe and follow Slow English Table so a new story finds you each week. Until then, eat slowly, listen closely, and enjoy every taste.